Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. I found a very interesting article from investingnews.com titled Silver Supply Facing Pressure as Solar Energy Attracts Interest. Now, it's not just the solar sector. We're talking about investing as well. And if you look at any of these sites like APMEX, due to unprecedented demand and market conditions, processing time may be slightly longer than usual. Go to JM Bullion, due to strong demand and rapidly changing market conditions, shipping may be longer than normal. Go to any site, you're going to see high volume alert. Expect shipping delays. Go to your local coin shop, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Go anywhere. Even Andy Schectman, which is the CEO of Miles Franklin, the company that filled a $50 million order, the biggest order ever in history, 900,000 eagles, over 100,000 ounces in junk silver and gold. He filled that order in 2 days because he has connections like nobody else. But he even said in the 30-something years he's been in business, he's never seen demand like this. Obviously, from banking crisis, obviously nobody trusts banks anymore for obvious reasons. But it's not just that. The industrial side, the other side of silver, which I've been talking about for years and years now, which separates silver from gold, the reason why my name is Silver Slayer, not Gold Slayer, the reason why silver has so much potential, and also why silver is something that I think has the most opportunity to rise in price, and I feel like markets are starting to realize this. Solar energy demand is seen playing a role in silver's future, both in the short and long term. How much of these metals, or how much of the metal does this market need right now, and what could be coming next? Experts see a bright future for silver demand, and the solar power industry is one of the reasons for their optimism. It's not just solar power. I mean, if you want to include electric vehicles in that, along with solar panels, which is the photovoltaic cells, the PV cells, if you want to look at the investment sector, which is booming, if you want to look at any of this, even looking at silver from, let's say, an outsider's perspective, if you're trying to invest into something, you got to look forwards. Just like if you're going to invest into real estate, you look at where is that neighborhood, where is that county headed? Are they tearing schools down in shopping centers? Are they building shopping centers and malls and parks? Are they building? Because that will determine the house's value in the next 5-10 years. Well, silver makes the most sense when you're looking at what it's needed for, especially how undervalued it is. You can't say the same for anything else, not even gold, because gold doesn't have this massive role in technology like silver does. The global transition to green energy has sparked an increased need for alternatives to traditional fuels like oil and gas. And silver is going along for the ride due to its use in solar panels, which are playing a growing role in energy production. How much silver will the solar industry need for the future? Here, the Investing News Network, the INN, looks at that question. What role does silver play in solar panels? Well, we already know this. I'm not going to cover this too much. It's the PV cells, photovoltaics. But the thing about this is, nobody's really recycling the silver out of these solar panels. And they have a very short half-life, just like windmills. They get thrown away in landfills, never to be recycled. So as we're using all this silver for these electronics and these electric vehicles and solar panels and silver lithium-ion batteries, all of this silver gets thrown away. Where gold, since it's mainly used for coins and bars, it's recycled and re-scrapped and reused over and over. The dangerous thing about this is I don't even think recycling would put a dent in the silver shortage, the supply deficit that we are already headed in. We already see record-breaking supply deficits this year, and we haven't even really started the Green New Deal yet, this whole green revolution. That is very alarming, folks. So as the association explains, the white metal plays an important role in photovoltaic PV technology, as I just explained. I'm not going to go into the science of it too much, but this is an interesting question. How much silver does the solar industry use today? Now, today is going to be a lot different than in 10 years from now, or even by the year 2030. I saw some people expecting that it would use 100% of the market today, which is not realistic since just as much silver is needed in an EV than a solar panel, and every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be an electric vehicle. So, how is that even possible? How has this energy production affected silver demand numbers? A 2020 report from the Silver Institute on silver's role in solar power shows that in 2019, 11% of total silver supply, or approximately 100 million ounces, went to be used for solar energy demand. By 2020, photovoltaics ended up consuming 12.7% of the year's silver supply at 101 million ounces, as both supply decreased and demand decreased. But as the need for green energy intensifies, market participants have raised questions about how much silver demand from solar the market will use and whether increasing usage may affect other high demand sectors such as automobile industry, jewelry fabrication, physical investment in the form of coins and bars. Well, as we look at these sites, do you think that this is the end? Do you think that these sites are just magically going to be able to find silver when we already see the U.S. Mint coming out admitting there's a silver shortage, where these other mints are admitting that they're having an extremely hard time finding silver? When you already see, I was even on Robert Kiyosaki's, the famous author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was on his channel, and he said his dealer for over 4 decades, 40 years, called him up and said he can't find silver anymore. But then he said, you know who can though? Andy Schectman. And then he ended up buying silver from Andy Schectman, which is pretty cool. But the whole point is the sources are shrinking. The sources are becoming scarce. And when you have something as important as silver, that's only going to push the price up. But at what cost? Looking into the next decade, the Silver Institute expects consistent interest for the precious metal. Between 2024 and 2030, it projects that solar demand will vary between 70 million ounces to 80 million ounces. While this amount is a small decline from the 2019 peak, it would be higher than any consumption level prior to 2016 and demonstrates that the PV sector will remain an important and consistent source of industrial demand for silver. The study from the Silver Institute projects a decline between 2020 and 2023 as PV capacity added per year dips, while attempts at silver thrifting in PV panels continues at a diminished rate. However, it expects silver demand from the solar market to go up in the long term. The Silver Institute references a World Bank projection as a basis for its own predictions. According to the World Bank, use of silver in energy technology segment could reach about 50% of 2019's total silver demand by 2050, meaning a consumption of 500 million ounces for solar alone. Will silver be replaced in solar panels? I don't think that's possible. See, silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. Nothing can replace silver. Copper is a somewhat close second in terms of electrical conductivity, but the quality of it would not even be worth replacing. As demand from solar energy sector places pressure on silver supply, some end users are increasing their thrifting of the white metal from solar cells or looking for alternatives to silver and PV modules. Thrifting is helping in the battle for silver supply, but it's only a small portion of the overall picture, and that's what I was saying. Recycling is not going to put a dent in this supply deficit, which, by the way, was record-breaking this year. Silver has the lowest electrical resistance among all metals at standard temperatures, meaning its substitutes cannot match it in terms of energy output per panel. Savings made in the substitution may therefore be offset by the increased number of panels needed, and that's what I was just talking about. The quality you would need would not even be worth replacing it with. So instead, experts are pointing to technological advancements as most concrete way to reduce the need for silver. That's what they're trying to do. Not replace silver, but cut back the amount of silver. There's about 58 grams of silver per EV, and they're trying to cut it down to around 20 something. But still, I don't think that's going to put a dent either. Alternatives to silver and solar energy are being discussed not only because of supply concerns, but also due to costs. And yeah, I mean, and that's exactly why someone like Elon Musk comes into play. Let's say, and Mike Maloney did the math for Elon Musk. Let's say silver does hit $50, $100, and Elon Musk is trying to amp the production of Teslas. Imagine the cost of production. So here's the investor's takeaway. Those betting on silver already know solar energy demand has a role to play both now and in the metal's future. Even as end users look for alternatives to silver and seek to reduce their use of the white metal, it's clear demand from solar industry is not going anywhere anytime soon. However, price will certainly weigh in these calculations as well for an industry in desperate need for silver. And that's why these industries need a source, and a very, very consistent source. If not, imagine them having to pay premiums, or imagine them having to cut back the amount of Teslas per year because they don't have enough silver. Imagine Joe Biden coming out and saying we have to put a halt to the Green New Deal because we don't have enough silver. Some people think that this is not a thing, but if you look at the numbers do not lie. And if you're looking at it from more than just the next year, which none of us are saying we're just going to run out of silver next year, it's going to be in the next 3-4 years. When I talk about triple digit silver, I say by the year 2026-ish. I think by then we'll be deep enough into this whole green revolution where big industry realizes the severity of it, pushing silver's natural price through the roof. What do you think, though? Let me know. I do think that since every single site is already telling us that they have unprecedented demand, markets are rapidly changing, the conditions are in high, everyone's trying to get their hands on it, especially since the banks have been failing as well, and silver is one of the best ways to protect your wealth. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you check out my latest videos. I've been putting out a lot of different stuff. Make sure you subscribe if you want more videos that have to do with silver, and I'll always try to give you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date, recent information in the world of precious metals, more specifically silver. If you liked this video, then please like the video. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.